What's up? It's Cain, and you guys are watching the Full Circle podcast. But before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know, most of our listeners are not following or subscribed. It'll really help us out if you hit that button. So without further ado, let's get into the episode.
In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. We are back with another episode. I don't even know what episode this is, but we come off a little break. But I'm so happy to be here with family.
Yes.
Right? Jade Renee. Can I say the whole name? Is that cool? All right, cool. This is Familia, right? She has such a good story to tell, and I'm so happy to be here to help her facilitate it. Welcome to the Full Circle podcast. I'm happy to finally have you here. You know what I mean?
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I just want to start it out, obviously, by giving you that introduction, but I do want to ask you firstly, before we dive into the episode, how are you feeling and how's your mental health and what does that look like?
Today, I am in a good space.
Okay.
I'm in a good space today. Mm-hmm. Overall, mental health on a scale from 0 to 10, 3. Honestly, I could go lower, but I'm going to be grateful and say 3.
Okay.
So, but I am feeling really good today, and I'm thankful for that.
That's good. Well, it's a good day to feel good.
Yes.
You know, I'm happy that, like I said, I'm happy that you're here. And usually when I meet people out, when I meet somebody, or if I see somebody from my past, maybe from high school, or even if I come across family, I always say, you know, I'm thankful that you're alive, you know?
Yeah.
Because these days we're losing people. We're losing people to things that could have been prevented, to things that were, you know, kept inside of them, right? Where they're walking around and they feel like ghosts walking, but nobody knows that because they're not communicating it. But granted, they may not feel like they can. And so for you to sit here and say you're being modest by saying you're at a 3, it's nothing to look at lightly. You know what I mean? Because granted, I mean, it's a 3, you know? And if it's lower, you know, I want you to definitely acknowledge that, because I feel like if we get used to telling ourselves that we're a certain way, we can for sure psych ourselves out, and that calls for a greater breakdown, right? So if you're not a 3, if you're less than that, embrace it, because I think that we're here right now. We can talk about it, but we can also learn from it. You know what I mean? Grow from it. We have another day. We're blessed to be here. I know you said you feel good today, and I'm blessed that you're feeling good today.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm just happy to hear that you're feeling good today. You know,
today. That's all that matters right now.
Yeah.
Is that I'm feeling good today. So yes. I'm grateful for that.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's hop right into it. Who are you, Jade? What is it that, I guess I want to start here. Like, what is it that brought you to this point, right? You know, your mental, like what brought you to this point, considering everything that you've been doing? And I'm speaking superficially right now. Okay. I'm not even like I'm speaking from the outside looking in. Jade, you look like everything is great. Jade, you have amazing photos. Jade, your business is doing great. Jade, you're living in an amazing apartment or loft. Jade, you've been here, you've done that. How are you at the point that you're at now, mentally, on this scale that low?
Honestly, I am still trying to ask myself that. It is a constant battle of how did I get here?
Yeah.
Because just a year ago, I was at an 8. You know, I just needed them 2 more notches to get me to a 10. Yeah. So I thought that by coming to my hometown, that would put me at that 10.
Yes.
And it took me so far back. It's insane. And that's just, it's not to downplay, you know, anybody's efforts, but it took me backwards. So now I'm at a 3. I was at a 1. Now, as of like the past, honestly, couple weeks, I've made it to a 3. I'm trying to at least get to a 5.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I got here. And I keep asking myself that. I keep asking God that. Like, how did I get here? So I can't answer that question. I'm just navigating through it. I'm trying to learn how to navigate through it, because I was an 8. And I'm a 3, since we're talking about numbers. But I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I keep questioning myself. So
You say you come back home and it brought you back.
It brought me back.
You know, I know you were in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And everything looked like it was going great. You seemed happy, you know,
Yeah.
you're being very successful in what you do. And you came back home
Yeah.
with the expectancy of growth, of, oh yeah, this is it, right?
Yes.
I can relate a little bit in that area, in that regard. Moving back from California, when I lived out there, you know, I was in a good mental space, and I wasn't, and then I was, and then I come back to Michigan, and with the hopes of, you know, starting something and, you know, growing my foundation and, you know, my company and the podcast and everything like that. So with vision, vision is what carried me to this point, right? And like we were talking about it off camera,
Yeah.
you know, it's that vision that has the ability to help you see past that trial, that tribulation, that bumpy road, that expectancy, which I think having expectations for things by default, I feel like they have the power to make or break you, because you're either going to meet your expectation or you're not.
Man.
You're either going to exceed it, you're going to meet it, or you're going to be below it, right? And so I think when you have that standard that you're trying to reach, that expectation that you're trying to obtain or trying to fulfill, you're in a weird, funky battle with not really having any in-betweens, because you're not ready for it, right?
Yeah.
You're not even looking at it for that. You're looking at it for the success.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't succeed, it fails. And when it fails, you feel like you failed, or you feel like you are at a level where you can't get up from, right? And so I bring that vision into it, because vision, I mean, you got to think about it, and I think about it in the context of God, right? Where God sees my future. So if I know he sees my future, then why do I stress about tomorrow? Why do I worry about tomorrow? Why do I worry about the things I can't even control, right? I can only see it like this. I can't see it like that. I didn't create it. I'm not outside of it. I'm in it right now.
In it,
right?
knee deep.
And so you in deep, you can't see anywhere else around you. And so you have no perception on how to maneuver or move around it in the moment.
Right.
But if you just have that vision and you know, I see it. I see it. It's here. I see it. I wrote it down. I pray about it. I think about it. I talk about it. Like, it's a reality to me. If you hold on to that vision, I would say that even when you do feel like a 3, that vision is there to remind you.
Exactly.
Like, I'm here right now and it's not going the best. And I don't really feel the best right now. You know what I mean? It's getting cold outside. I'm used to the hot because I've been there for a couple of years, and now I'm not motivated. Now I'm depressed.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I know why I'm here in the first place. So what do I have to do to overcome that 3? How can I get to a 5? Right? What can I do for it to be substantial enough to sustain me in this season where I'm a 3, but I know I got to make it to that 5, and so that I can do this thing next spring that I was planning, so that I could come out with this drop, so that I can go get this client, so that I could, you know what I mean? So I bring vision into that, because you say you had a 3 or you were at a 1, and you coming back to Detroit like, man, I thought I was going to be at a 10.
Man, I thought I was going to be at a 10. That's so funny.
And the expectation wasn't met.
At all.
And so what geared that, right? So like, what geared that expectation of it being a 10? Why did you think that, I'll come back home, it's going to be a 10? What made you think that?
So for me, at the level that I'm at, a lot of people think that money would be the problem.
Speak to him.
Money would be the issue.
Right.
I had it all. I had the high rise, the Benz, I'm cute, the business. I literally had it all.
Flexing. Okay.
But that's only surface level.
Yeah.
When we get to talking about the soul work, I felt like I was missing things that I needed to either close chapters, mend chapters, try to heal a chapter in order to become my best self. And I wasn't going to be able to do that in Atlanta at that given time in my life.
Right.
I had everything I wanted, plaques on the wall, but I was literally empty. And that's a feeling that is hard to explain to people because, like I said, the next person would think it's about money. Money is not, it doesn't solve all the issues. You can have all the money, but like I said, it's the soul work. So I figure, okay, let me go home. You know, I've been gone for 10 years. So let me go home and really like retract. And get those relationships together, get that inner healing, that inner, whatever the questions that I needed answered for myself, get those answered so that I could move on. Maybe even take a mental break because I've been working since I left here. And I got the clarity that I needed. At what expense, though? So that is the point I'm at now. Like, okay, I thought I was coming to be complete, I guess, to get to that 10. I have everything, but I'm missing this certain aspect, I guess. And then I got here and I'm just like, okay. I get why I left.
Yeah.
I get why I never came back. And it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, it just made me realize who I was, who I had grew into. I'm not the same person I was from high school or from my childhood years. And honestly, I'm just to a point where anything that I need to heal from, I just need to get over it.
Yeah.
Not even so much get over it, but like we were talking about off camera, I believe that healing is just acceptance, accepting your reality for what it is and moving on.
Yeah.
A lot of people stay stuck.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that successful person that was mentally stuck.
Yeah.
I couldn't go forward because I'm so busy thinking about what happened when I was 12 or, you know, feeling guilty for being successful, knowing that I have a whole family back home and stuff like that. So it was really deep for me. On top of that, I want to be married. I want to be a mom.
Yeah.
I don't want to just have money.
Yeah.
I want my husband, I want my kids to like really see me for me. And not what I have or, you know, my success or who Jade Renee, who they think Jade Renee is. So it was a soul mission to come home. And it backfired, in my opinion. It really, really backfired. I've grown so much.
Good.
But it's just like at what expense, though?
Yeah.
You know? And then it just gets tricky because it's like, do I choose my career? Or do I choose the healing? Now you got to make the choice, the decision. So that's what brought me here. Just getting that soul work out the way, feeling guilty, feeling lonely because I was in Atlanta by myself. Now I'm successful with all these random friends. They're good friends, you know, but like I was missing that genuine aspect of things. It started to get superficial.
Yeah.
And I got scared.
Wow.
It's deep.
Wow.
Like, I really got scared. Like, whoa, so I have it all and that's it? Like
this is what I've been working so hard for?
I worked so hard for this? Like, I don't like this.
Wow. Okay.
So.
Well, you said a lot, and I'm going to unpack a little bit, right? So you started off by saying, you know what I mean, basically you went to Atlanta and you got all the things you wanted.
Everything I wanted.
But you were missing something spiritually. You weren't, your soul was empty essentially, right? And then you come back home in search of that fulfillment in your soul and on that soul walk that to you, it kind of backfired, right? And you said what extent. I think about that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's good. That's a good observation that you have about basically going to a place that you've always wanted to go.
Yes.
That you desired to go. I've seen your trajectory. I've literally seen you go from A to B to C.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring from the outside in, obviously. And I see just all the things. And I think with people with things, they allow the things to identify them to the point where you don't even know who that person really is. And almost to the point for them, they don't even know who they are too.
Right.
So it takes a lot for you to observe yourself with the things that you now know, okay, I don't even have what's important.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not connected. I'm not rooted in my faith. I don't have that real confidence in that area. I mean, I have everything physically. I got the money. I got the cars. I got the nice penthouse.
That's not enough.
It's not enough because it never will be.
Yeah.
And that's what I think it never will be because it's so funny. It's so funny, and I had this thought while you were talking. It's so funny that you come back to a place where you think you're going to be at a 10, right? And I could only think of the ideology of you going by your own understanding and your own like will, and essentially like you believing essentially that you're in control of that. Right. In a way, right? Like you're moving with the intention that, oh yeah, this is going to be good. Like you know it's going to be
super
a 10,
positive.
Right? And that sounds great.
Yeah.
And it always feels good to know or to have this plan. Like, oh yeah, when I go back, it's going to be great. Like I'm going to be on 10. I'm going to be on top. I'm going to gross here. I'm going to do it. Like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But I always find it that, at least in my life too, like, you know, God always shows me that, it's not your plans and it's not your understanding that's going to get you anywhere. It could get you somewhere, but it's not going to get you all the way, right? And I could only help but think that, could it be that your understanding and what you were doing in your transition coming back home got in the way of just submitting to the fact of the matter? You coming back home. right?
Mm-hmm.
So could it be that you just didn't submit to the fact that, man, I don't know what home is going to bring me. I hope it brings me fulfillment. However, I know that I'm missing this. Allow me to be available, right, to the possibility that I could go this direction. It could go this. I could take a break for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
But I shouldn't. But I shouldn't allow myself to get so consumed by the expectations that I'm setting when I don't even know what terrain I'm walking in. You didn't come back
Right.
for 10 years.
Right.
So I would say it's presumptuous to think that coming back to a place that you've left for 10 years, you know, or you feel like, oh yeah, I'm going to be fulfilled by that. You don't even know the streets no more. You don't know the land anymore. So how do you know? You don't even, it's unfamiliar, right? You spent so much time learning and growing and succeeding in this other place that, again, from the outside looking in, it looks like, oh yeah, she got it. She's doing great. She should just stay out there.
Yeah.
Because I remember you telling me that you didn't feel like people were happy for you when you came back.
Yeah.
Right? And so that can play a part in, you know what I mean, come back. But you got to think about it too. Their perspective, it's like, Jay has it all.
Yeah.
Why is she coming back here? But somebody who's been in your shoes has the perspective of, one, knowing who they are, pursuing what they want, and finding purpose in what they're doing. Now, obviously, we're not talking about not having a fulfilled spirit and feeling like you don't have it spiritually.
Right.
But just from the outside looking in, you have everything. And so because you have everything, now you have a perspective of what it's like to have everything coming from not having anything.
Yeah.
They don't. So because they don't, they want essentially in some way in hindsight what you have, and they want you to stay there, but they're not close enough to you to know that you're going through the things that you're going through, hence them maybe not being happy that you're back. So I only break it down that way for that first half because being somewhere where you have everything, most people will stay.
Yeah.
Most people would dwell.
And most people don't have a soul.
Exactly. Yeah,
How
they're
about
missing that. Yeah,
They're
no,
missing that
you're right.
part. Especially just with being in Atlanta and seeing a lot of things. I didn't want to be that person, and I felt myself going that way.
Right.
Of having it all at the expense of losing my soul.
Yeah.
And I wasn't willing to do that.
Okay.
So
That's good.
I want to go back to when you said about submitting.
Yeah.
So, quick story. I haven't told anybody this, right? This is reporting live.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, guys. But so when I was in Atlanta, I was literally talking to God in my apartment because I was so confused. I'm like, why do you want me to go home? Like, do I want to go home? Is like God telling me to go home. It was literally screaming. Like God is screaming at me like, okay, you need to go home. If it doesn't work, I'll just leave. But you need to go and you need to go now.
Okay.
That's one thing about God. Yeah, you got to move. And that's what I did. So that started a new journey of me listening to God. Yeah. So then when I finally get here and the reality really set in, about 3 months later, I'm hearing God again, just telling me to submit. Yeah. Just submit to me. Like, stop thinking about everything that you're thinking about and just submit. Yeah. I did the submission thing. And a year later, I'm just like, okay, let's just really put some things into perspective. Yeah. And like, let's really look at the true reality of where I'm going here. Yeah. It's time to shift gears. Yeah. But I did submit. I'm so used to being in control. Okay. I'm a CEO. Yeah. I run my own show and I always have. So I'm just so used to being like just in control. I don't have no other words for it. So I had to lose control. And that is what scared me. I'm always in the unknown. I like the unknown because I don't know what's over there. It's scary.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm just always in the unknown. So, but I did submit. I did. And I'm still submitting. It wasn't just a month thing. Yeah. Oh, it's been a time.
You have to, yeah.
But I'm also in a constant state of evolution. Okay. I cannot stay stagnant or complacent, or I can't stay unhappy. Yeah. I didn't even realize I built myself up to be happy. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm probably getting off topic here. But it's important to be happy. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to find that happiness.
It sounds like the expense you're talking about before, like at what expense? Because you brought in family, you brought in just all types of things, right? Yeah. Happiness, if that's what you're striving for, right? And things here aren't even fulfilling that, right? Because I always say this, I say feelings are fleeting, right? Feelings come and they go. And so for me, like, I don't I guess I don't cling to the things that I know can change in an instant, right? One moment I can be happy, and the next moment I could be mad. The next moment I could be unhappy. I could be on top of the world, and the next day I'm depressed, right?
But you said the next day.
Yeah.
Imagine a whole year of being unhappy when you are used to dancing at the beat of your own drum, and you were at 8.
Yeah.
Trying to get to a 10. So it's like that day to day is a constant high and low. But what happens when it's been a whole 365 of being unhappy?
Yeah.
And, so I don't know.
And who sees it, right?
Who sees it?
Who's there to be with you in that, right?
Coco, my dog.
And it's so funny though, because you come back home and you feel this way when you're at home. And so I would think that, family, right? And that's the sad reality, because we can shift into that right now, right? We can go back later. You're at home, you have this expectancy to be at a 10. You're not, you're at a 1, and you're here for a year, and you're with your family a lot more than you've ever been in the last 10 years.
Yeah. And
you're unhappy. But is that unhappiness inside of you, or are you communicating that unhappiness to the people who I'm going to put air quotes, because everybody doesn't have the same situation, but to the people that you feel like love you and that you love them. Like, are you going to open yourself up to your family and your friends and say, yo, I'm not happy. Yo, I'm not okay with this. I feel like y'all not even on my team. And this may be contributing to my unhappiness. This may be contributing to my discontentment. Are you communicating that to your people? Right?
I've communicated that often. It's crazy because I was just telling my mom the other day, like, I feel overexposed here. Overexposed.
Really?
Emotionally, spiritually. I mean, I am truly overexposed in Detroit. But my happiness does not depend on other people. So even if I'm voicing it to them, I can't count on them to make me happy. The happiness has to come from within.
Yeah.
And now I'm noticing that it's multiple elements that make me happy. I can't just have the family, right? I need the family. I need the career. I need the fun. I need everything in one, right? And I'm learning how to balance. Yeah. But the happiness, it's just no point even voicing it to other people. It's within. I'm trying to be happy internally. Yeah. So I stopped voicing it. And I'm the type of person, I don't even like to come around people if I'm sad. So now we have a whole year of me being in the house.
Yeah, facts.
Now I'm in quarantine, right? So yeah, to answer your question, I've voiced it, but at the end of the day, it's about me and my internal happiness. So it's like, it's not much they can really do. I mean, we spend that time, but at the end of the day, I need all elements, not just that one. So, but I had to come home to realize that.
And also too, like with family, when you leave a family for so long, they treat you as if to say you're in the same condition as when you left. And so you're not really received in that new season and all, like, think about it. I keep going back to this 10 years because you were gone for a long time.
I think I'm so over people in the whole, I don't even want to hear the word 10 anymore when I leave here.
Yeah. I mean, that's a minute,
It
right?
is, but then next year it'll be 10 years in business. I'm just over the whole 10-year talk. It is a long time, but a lot of people would have just never came back. But at least I did, just to see, like, is this what I need? I don't have any kids. I don't have anything but a dog. So that was a game changer. That was a shocker for me to realize, like, I've grown so much that I've literally outgrew Detroit. And
that's okay.
I didn't think it was okay. I'm like, oh man, well, this sucks. Like, I've really outgrown it here. And it's different from just being here for a week for a holiday, So yeah, that growth, I did not realize it until I came here and I looked at my surroundings and I'm like, it's a lot of stuckness that's in Detroit. I'm in a constant state of involvement. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. I'm not the same person I was before the camera started rolling, So
that's good.
it's some people that are still stuck from 10 years ago. And that's the only way that they remember me and themselves, honestly. I'm going on 30 and my friends are still talking about my sweet 16. That's crazy. So it's like, I'm just not that person. I can't stay stuck. If I would have stayed stuck, I would never be who I am. I had to come home to realize that.
And I want to take a moment though, because I want to pour into you a little bit, because I think it's important that you hear this, right? In the same way, people who have that it factor, right, in life. I'm talking about just, there's always that person in the family that's just like, yeah, they're gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
You're one of those people.
Oh.
You're that person in the family, and I think when you have that thing over you where everybody has their own expectations of you because of what they see from a child and as an adult, teenager, going to college, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You somehow carry it, but granted, it's not on you for no reason. Some people fold under pressure because they never truly realize their purpose and they never truly realize what they are capable of. But then some people actually take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Right? And you're talking about people in your life who are still your friends who are still talking about your Sweet 16.
Yeah.
You spend so much time in the place you grow up in, right? And then you finally leave. Most people stay in hometown, they go to the state college, they come back home, they do the same thing every year, spring break, party, summertime, they do the same thing, go to the same states for vacation. Yeah. They live in this life of redundancy. Now, I don't think in a general sense that that's a bad thing, but I think if we're talking about success and we're talking about growth, we're talking about, going to the next stage in your life, those types of people in that type of environment can hinder you, especially once you've seen what else is out there, right? So you go to another state, you go to another place, you live there for years, you come back, and they're still going to the same thing, doing the same stuff, talking to the same people. And when they see you, they only have the same thing to talk about. So that's telling you now you have to get out of that because you're not going to be that person that you grew into being because they're not going to be able to receive it. Because they're not. You're going to go lower because you have to, because that's all that they can comprehend. So when you've exceeded that level of comprehension and exceeded that level of living, right? When you're talking about going into another phase, you're meeting new people, you're around different types of people who are motivated, who have something going for themselves, who are essentially not living life, letting life go by.
Pass by, yeah.
Then you now are adjusting to that mentality and that reality because it's possible. But when you go back home, most people who come back home and they try to, great example, okay? I'm sorry, let me just go here.
Yeah.
I always, and I hold this position right now, presently, right? I've always been the person that, I played football growing up, and I was the football player in the family. You know what I mean? I was pretty good, and I was going to go to college, and everybody thought I was going to go to the NFL, right? I didn't love football no more. It's a lot for people to swallow, but I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. I got hurt, and I could have played again, but I just didn't because I didn't love it anymore. I knew that I had much more of a purpose outside of football.
Right.
My season with that was done, and I was cool with that. People in my family had the expectancy for me to continue doing that, and I was the only way that they saw me. Now, granted, I'm the youngest of 6 kids, so because I'm the youngest of 6 kids, my family doesn't spend a lot of time getting to know me. By the time my mom and my dad had me, they already had 4 kids.
Right.
They already had raised them, right? So my brothers and my sisters raised me. My parents did. I'm not saying that they didn't raise me, but my brothers and my sisters saw us grow up differently than my parents did because my parents were tired, and I got that, right?
Yeah.
And so now that I'm going into my teenage years, right? Okay, cool. I'm at school. I got my own identity. I got my own personality. I got my own people, my own friends that my parents don't even know to the extent that I do, but they see me with them. And so they like, oh, yeah, Justin is with his friends. He's playing ball. Okay. I graduate. I go to college. I leave college. I go to California. I meet a bunch of new people, man, and I come back, right? My family has never had the opportunity to process me in a season where I'm fully realized of myself. I know where I'm going. I know what I got, right? And I know what I want to do, right? They've always seen me, and they've always known that I was driven. They've always known that I knew what, like I always had a plan. My dad says that a man without a plan plans to fail. I've taken that to heart. And so that's how I live my life.
Right.
So I've never been the one that they were worried about. And I take that to heart. Now, and I'm sorry, this is a long-winded tangent, but I say that to say that now in this present moment in my life, my family still don't understand me.
Man.
And is it my responsibility for them to understand me? Is it my responsibility for them to see what I'm doing and think, yo, that's cool. This is that. Should I just take that's your little podcast or that's your little thing that you're doing. Should I take that or should I just let it be and have grace and keep it pushing because I know that they'll never understand? Because I know my purpose. Keep it pushing, right? So I've learned to not allow the things that my family do as a byproduct of their ignorance to affect my journey because I know my purpose. When you know your purpose, you can't even afford to allow somebody to hinder you from living it out.
Or
right?
you can't afford for somebody to tell you who you are.
And
or
you already know
define
who you are. Exactly. Yeah. You
and
already
that's
know.
just their
Yeah.
perspective, or their insecurities or whatever they have, projections
Yes.
to define you.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yo, if you like what you're listening to and you want more, come join the Full Circle community. Link is in the bio. I'm there, team's there. We kick it, we have fun, we have conversation. Overall, we just hang out. If you want to be around like-minded people in the community, then do what's best for you. Join the community. I'll see you there.
And that even reminds me of you saying, you coming back. I don't know if I can bring this up. Let me not say that, because I don't know if I can bring this up.
Just kidding.
Because I'm thinking about you now in the same way, right? Where again, you have all this success and you've done so many things, you've succeeded at so many things and accomplished so many things in your business, that maybe your family has not seen you enough and learned you enough and got to know you enough in the last 10 years to where they are able to see you from the perspective that you want to be seen, because you know who you are. In most cases, again, somebody in your position, maybe somebody in my position, they're surrounded by a family that don't even know their position. They're still in the same position that they were in years ago, or they just settled in the same position. Okay? And so they're projecting, like you're saying, on things that maybe they wanted to do. Maybe, and this is hypothetical, maybe my dad jealous of me because he always wanted to do something for himself, but he never could because he always had to work. Maybe my mom wants to have a vacation, but she see me go on vacation, now she mad at me because I'm on vacation. Right? I'm just saying, like, that's the reality for a lot of people, where their families project selfishly what they want and what they wanted in their life. As if to say they can't do it, because they can do it. It's always possible. I'm 24 years old. I'm doing things that my dad and my mom wasn't doing at 24 years old.
Amazing.
Right? I'm setting the precedent. I'm showing my family, like, this is possible. You can go here. You can meet this person. You can do the thing that you want to do. So that way, when I have my children, my kids, my son, my daughter, they're going to look at daddy like, Dad, let's go do this. And they're going to say that with conviction because they know they can do it. They're not going to look at me like, oh, man, I don't know if we can do it today. It's like, no, I watched my mother, I watched my father do this. And so I know it's possible. And so I think it's time that we normalize doing the things that you do, leaving your city, being somewhere for 10 years, and not coming back home to build your empire, and being okay with that, because you talking about guilt earlier, saying you feel guilty for being successful.
I felt so guilty.
And it doesn't do you any good by having that guilt, but also letting other people you feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Because now they have control over that. Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. That was a big factor too. And that was one of those slap in the face moments for me. Just, being in Atlanta, living my best life. Yeah. I've worked so hard to build my empire. I never went out like that. I was always in the house when everybody was partying and stuff like that. So when I got to Atlanta, it was just a new experience for me to enjoy life, and people made me feel guilty for that. Yeah. So when are you going to stop partying? So when are you going to stop doing this? When are you going to stop doing that? And then it's like, I got to thinking about it, well, maybe I should stop, you know? So maybe I should just go settle down. Maybe y'all keep asking me, I should stop. But then I stopped to become miserable. Are you kidding me? So I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's like misery loves company. Yeah. And I would rather be living my best life, honestly, than to just be miserable with others or whatever the case is, So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, because it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And like I said, despite you being here now and you feeling how you're feeling, I think you're still in a very unique position. Because not only are you in a position that you are and you feel low, but you're in a position to change that too.
I am, but I'm going to feel guilty for that.
But it's not your responsibility.
Oh, the guilt is just taking over.
Yeah, I know.
I felt guilty for being successful, and now I would feel guilty for leaving. Yeah. And I'm like, it just really puts me in a tricky situation.
Because if you never leave, you're going to stay in the same position.
Stay and rot here, okay? It'll be the rise and fall of Jade Renee. And I feel that. Yeah. From the outside looking in, it may not look like that. Yeah. But for me, it's like my run isn't over. And people talk to me here like my run is over. Like, oh, you did good while you were out of town. Welcome back. Welcome to real life, you know? And it's like, I never said I was done. Yeah. Now, I said I was coming here to be a 10. Yeah. I didn't say I was coming here to be a 1. Yeah. And just go back to regular whatever is going on here. Yeah. So I'm going to feel guilty for leaving because I have to choose me for the first time in my life. Yeah. I'm feeling like I have to finally choose myself. I'll be 30 next year. Yeah. self-love is the
Look.
best love. And if I'm pouring from an empty cup, how am I ever going to be available to pour from a filled cup,
Amen.
you know?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel guilty regardless. Hey,
Mm-mm.
a win is a win, a L is a L. I don't know.
Look, we come from a city where everybody's famous, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's famous.
Famous
Everybody
from doing nothing,
from
though.
doing nothing. Okay. But check it out.
Mm.
We live in a city. Well, we from a city where people, to be relevant, you got to be outside.
Yeah.
Being behind the door, working on something, being low key, being out the way, it's not really a thing anymore. If you're not really outside and about and in public,
Mm-hmm.
then nobody thinks you're doing anything. But that's to say that you even care that they think you're doing anything at all, right? But I say that because if you really pay it, I mean, you know this because we were talking like, the social media game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see somebody on social media, they're posting on their story all day. They're going to these parties, going to these clubs. They showing all the money, doing this, showing the fancy stuff, the Gucci, the Louis, the Fendi, the Prada, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you see them working this job and that job just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And now, look, I'm only saying that not because my perception of it is it's bad to work a job,
Right.
but because they're putting out this perception of themselves that they can even do the things that they're doing
Yeah.
when they could barely put food on their table.
Mm.
And that's the reality. And I think social media has spoiled us to the point where now the norm is having everything right
Yeah.
now. It's not even normal to be like, yeah, man, I'm working. I got a full-time job and, I'm just trying to support my family. It's not
Right.
normal. It's lame. That's the, it's lame. And so I'm kind of frustrated at that because that affects the mental health and it affects the trajectory of a lot of people because now you get to high school, you feel like you got to have. I was talking to this kid. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but this is going to loop back in, I promise.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of I mentor a kid. His name is Kevin, right? It's like my little brother. And he texted me the other day. He was like, Justin, big bro. He was like, how do you find a good woman? I said, when you become a good man.
Whoa.
I'm like, you're not even a man yet, right? So why are you trying to figure out how to find a woman? You're not going to find a woman at 16. I promise you, you're not. All right. She's not nobody's brain is even developed like all the way. So they don't even know who they are. I'm like, so don't even spend your time thinking about what a woman can do for you, that you need a woman.
Right.
You need to focus on football grades, go to school and figure yourself out. And I promise you, when you have all the things that you have and you're doing the things that you're doing, the woman that's for you will come to you.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. You'll be able to identify the qualities in a woman because you've been around women long enough to know, yeah, this is for me, this isn't for me. But you should not spend your life as an adolescent, tripping over trivial matters with teenagers. Right. So I had to give him that advice because he was looking at it from the lens of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see all these girls, bro, and they're like this, and they have these guys, and all these guys my age. I just watched this guy, he got an offer, and he's in the gym, and I'm like, but what are you doing? Are you watching him, or are you trying to do your thing? You know what I mean? And so it's like we spend so much time either looking for people, comparing ourselves to people, and not really focusing on who we are and what we're going to become.
Right.
Because if you're going to be honest, a lot of these people with these blue checks, a lot of these people with, flaunting this money, and again, all of these, materialistic things, their life is not all it's cracked out to be.
Exactly.
And you even said in the beginning of the podcast, like, your mental health is not that high. And so you being actually successful in real life, you actually having the things that everybody wants to have, you're still susceptible to having a pretty bad mental health.
Right.
And so that's just a proven point of it doesn't matter how much you have. It doesn't matter how much people think you have.
Yeah.
You're not invincible from feeling sad, feeling depressed, feeling, mad, feeling unhappy. Like, you're not invincible from that fact of the matter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I just feel like when it comes to this perception, and again, the families being ignorant, and then you feeling guilty about your success.
Yeah.
I think the expense is too grave for you to actually let that consume you because you don't owe anybody anything, right? You spend your life working hard to get to the point that you're at, and you should continue to do that. And you shouldn't let anybody else's stagnation put you in a stagnant position.
Right.
It's just not worth it.
I had to come home to realize that. But I love that you brought up social media and the perception because when I started to really get into who is Jade Renee in college, I really, really tried my best to protect my image.
Right.
and I only allow social media to see certain things.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
as time progressed, I kept that up.
Mm-hmm.
So they will see when I'm outside having fun with my friends or at lunch or, you know, just doing fun things.
Yeah.
But they don't see when I've been working for 12 hours at my desk, trying to finish orders, trying to sign contracts, and, you know, the sleepless nights where I'm actually sleeping on the couch, taking a quick 3-hour nap just so I could finish a website by a deadline. They don't see that stuff because I'm too busy working to record it. I just want to record my fun parts of my life, you know? But it's all about the perception. So even just coming here is like, okay, I had to realize, like, wait a minute. I spent all day working on my craft, and then I went out and, you know, did what I wanted to do. But the perception was that I was always doing the fun stuff. And I'm like, that's not true. That's the only diversion that I'm feeding you. But are you there when I'm crying in the middle of the night or in the morning because clients are frustrating me, or because someone didn't pay their invoice, or, you know, when business is just a whirlwind? They don't see that. I don't have to post that part. So I've always tried to be so careful with the perception and my reputation. And I think that along the way, I kind of got lost maybe. Maybe I started posting too much about, you know, having fun. And then there's so many people in my ear like, well, why are you always having fun? Because I worked hard, you know, on my everything. My spiritual journey, financial journey, my business, everything, you know? So it's just all about the perception. And now I'm going to be honest, I'm so private.
That's good.
I don't want to post anything.
That's good.
That's not good because that's how I make my money.
True. I mean, on that front.
Yeah,
but I mean,
like my audience loves to see me leveling up. They love to see me having fun. But it's always the people like closest to me that have a problem. It's never the people that's actually paying my bills.
Okay.
So it's like now I'm just to a point where I'm just too private. Am I gonna still have social media as my form of income? Because I'm scared to post me having a good time. At the expense of making somebody else feel some type of way.
Really?
So it's all about the perception. And now I'm just like in hermit mode. I don't leave the house. I'm scared to post that I'm here right now. So I don't know. It's a weird space. It's a weird, and I don't live in fear. I have such bad anxiety being here. I never had that in Atlanta. I never really lived in fear in Atlanta.
Right.
A lot of things that I have now, I didn't have in Atlanta, and they're negative things. And I'm just trying to get through it. You know, it's beauty in the madness, I guess. I keep getting finer.
Amen.
I guess a win is a win, but it's beauty in the madness.
That's good. Well, I mean, you're doing a good thing. You know, one of my boys, Dale, he was on a podcast. He was talking about little wins, right? And I love that mentality, right, of little wins, where we're in this instant gratification society and nobody ever celebrates the small things. You know, nobody ever celebrates the moment it took for you to get up. Right. And, you know, I think, because like yesterday I texted my boys like, man, I'm just so thankful that I got up this morning, because right now, my girl is, you know, in California with her family, and I'm alone right now. So it can be tough when you're alone. It can be tough when you're at home by yourself, because so many things can happen. So many things run through your mind. And so for me, just waking up and actually getting out the bed and not staying in the bed was a little win for me. And that motivated me and pushed me throughout my entire day. So in the same way, you know, for you, I feel like it's the little wins that you need to focus on, because if I'm being honest, man, I've got over the hump of my family judging me and, you know, having input. Everybody wants an opinion, especially people who ain't doing nothing, right? People always have the biggest opinions when they're not in your shoes, right? Because they feel self-righteous in it and they feel like they have power to do it, but they also feel justified by it because they're not there. But when in reality, behind closed doors, they want to be where you at.
Right.
But it just makes them feel good because they have the ability to make you feel less than what you are.
To make them feel better.
To make them feel better.
Wow.
And that's the only joy and that's the only ounce of goodness that they feel in their life. And it's sad, but it's the reality of it. So somebody in your position, again, I don't want you to feel like you need to. Because there's one thing, like, again, we talk about submitting the guy, right, and just allowing him to handle it and ultimately allowing him to just steer the wheel, and, you know, steer the ship. I feel like there's so much power in being in submission in something like this, because you're not, again, going by your own understanding, and you're not allowing other people's opinions to pour into you, right? I'm protected. I'm guarded. every day somebody's trying to tear me down. Whether
Every
it's an
hour.
intrusive thought, right? Whether it's a thought, whether it's a person, you know what I mean? Whether it's myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have to be aware enough to know that obviously I'm not in control all the time. But again, going back to what I was saying before, I know that tomorrow is taken care of.
Yes.
And I know that in this moment, if I submit, it's taken care of.
Yeah.
Right. And so that gives me peace. And I feel like when you're at peace, then anything that anybody says shouldn't affect you to the point to where you're feeling guilty for leaving, or you're feeling guilty for making this amount of money, or you're feeling guilty for getting that car, or you're feeling guilty for just doing good for yourself because you deserve it.
Yeah.
Again, you're not doing it. It'll be different if you were doing it for them,
Mm-hmm.
but they have their own lives, right? You're doing it for you.
Right.
And so for them to even know, like, oh, wow, she feels guilty for us. Like, she should, because we don't get anything. We don't get a piece of it.
Yeah.
That right there can make you feel like, oh, my gosh, like, now I'm...
Gotta stay here now. I'm stuck.
Right. Now I
thought I
really
was
can't
stuck in
go.
Atlanta, yeah.
Exactly, right. So, but in reality, it's like, nah, you have a legacy to build. You know what I mean? And you have a family to have in the future that you want. You know, you want to be a wife. You want to have kids. You want to have that to give, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that, and I'm going to pray about that for you for sure, but I just think that that's so much more worthy to focus on.
Yeah.
At the expense of your family mumbling and grumbling.
Yeah.
Because are they?
It's not just family. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
But it's just like everything, you know, like the energy in the city. Like it's just literally everything. And I've chased my peace of mind and my happiness the past 10 years I've been gone.
Yeah.
But the crazy part is I was peaceful in my high rise in Atlanta. I was peaceful enough.
Gotcha.
Battling that soul work.
Yeah.
But I was peaceful enough that it scared me. Like, did I deserve to be this peaceful? Why is life going how I need it to go?
Yeah. Everything's happening.
This is not supposed to be like this. I have to go home. You know, like, so it's like when I got that peace of mind, I didn't appreciate it because it was foreign to me because I worked so hard. It was so much chaos to get there. And now I'm like, should I backtrack and go try to like finish up the peace of mind part?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just in a chapter of being thankful and having gratitude. But that peace part, I think I had the peace enough and I didn't realize it. It's a lot of things I didn't realize. A lot of things I was ungrateful for. Yeah. So, but heavy on the peace of mind for sure.
Would you say that it's easier to have peace when you're not being tested? Because that's what because I only ask you that because, you know, you have peace in the high rise. You have peace with the cars. You have peace with the things, right? And I'm not talking about the soul. I'm just talking about the general, like you have peace in that. Yeah. Could it be because you're not being, you know, tested? There's nothing coming at you?
But no, because me getting these things is a result of chaos. So it brings me peace,
That's
knowing
good.
that I went through a lot of stuff. So I deserve this high rise.
That's
I deserve this Benz. I deserve whatever.
That's good.
Because because the test was so intense at that time. Yeah. You know? So I don't know. This is the longest test I've ever had, though. My tests come and go because I was so used to being by myself. Yeah. So if something comes that would have broke the next person, I just lock in with myself for a couple months and I get back to me. But I've never, ever had a time where a test has lasted a whole year. That's really tricky for me. I need $1 million now. I gotta get something out the deal for this.
Word.
Gotta get something out the deal. But
no, that's good. I mean, the funny thing about tests is that we don't know when they're gonna end.
I know.
And what's important in that, I feel like I say this so much because I mean, it's a common theme in life, right? Like that it's inevitable that we're gonna go through stuff. Right. Period. But it's important that even in that, going back to the awareness part, that we are aware that this test is here for a reason. Right. Despite how I feel in the moment, I have to be sure and I have to lean on God, right? Yeah. Completely. Without any mumble. I mean, I might mumble, I might groan, you know what I mean? But at least I know and I have the awareness, right? But I have to lean on God completely and ask Him, God, give me wisdom. I need it. What's going on right now? Yeah. I understand that I'm here and I'm not happy, but why? Right. Maybe God, you know, if I'm unhappy, God, I mean, I know I'm unhappy, but at the expense of my happiness, it's okay because I know that you may be taking me somewhere that I need to be. Right. Right. It's just having the awareness that God is leading you somewhere better, but ultimately that in it, you're developing something that you didn't have before. Right. Whether that be patience, whether that be understanding, whether that be wisdom, right? But I feel like so many times in our tests, in our trials, in our tribulations, we can become jaded by the longevity of it.
Yeah.
And we are so long-winded in it that we just completely lose hope in what's happening. Like, I don't even know no more. I don't care no more.
I don't even know
I don't even know where
more.
I'm going, right? And the reality is you might be this close to your breaking point, your breakthrough. I meant breaking point as in breakthrough, but you might be this close to your breakthrough, and things might change like that. But a lot of people, or how often is it that somebody gets so close to their breakthrough that they give up and they never see their breakthrough? How often is it that somebody reaches their purpose? I mean, they're right there, and then they give up and they never see the potential that they could have. Like, how often does that happen?
Too much. Every day.
And so what does that tell you about you being in this long season of test?
Right. It's time for me to move on. That's what it tells me.
Oh my God.
It's time for me to move on. No, seriously, because like that's one thing that my dad has taught me. He's a football coach for like over 15 years.
Yeah.
And my dad, I'm quick to be like, if Coco get on my nerves, Dad, come get the dog. Like, I don't even want the dog no more. Or like even in college, I wanted to give up so much. Just skip the whole degree. I'm going home. But my parents, not just my dad, my mom too, my parents have instilled in me to not give up.
Yeah.
And with that, that keeps me going too, because I feel myself kind of just like wasting by the wayside around here. I'm losing sight of who Jade Renee is. Yeah. And I didn't come this far just to come this far and not be happy or whatever the song said. So with them instilling such a powerful like message in me, I would have to move forward in a different way so that I can't give up. Yeah. Because if I'm in a negative environment and I'm used to being around positivity, motivation, and, stuff like that, I don't stay in a rough season for too long. It was different. But when the whole environment is negative, it's like, okay, in order for me not to give up, I need to keep
Remove
moving.
yourself.
I need to keep moving. If I stay here, I'm gonna give up.
That's good.
Then I'm just nothing.
That's good. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
It is. But the good thing is, because all of that is pretty sour. Yeah. But the good thing is, you made it another day.
I know. That's why I say I'm a 3. Yeah. Because at least I'm alive.
You alive.
And I'm fine. So that puts me at a 3.
Yeah. But look, check it out though. You're smiling through the pain, right? Yeah. You're smiling through the trials and the tribulation. You are so funny.
Today.
But no, real spill though, like you are managing to, still have a smile, to still have the outlook that you have, and to still have the awareness that you have. That's a good thing. That's a little win right there.
It's a big win. But I hate that the win has to be like that. Like, why is it that in my darkest moments, I shine the brightest? Like, I don't like that for me. But that's just how it is. My smile is even brighter than it was when I was an 8. I feel like I look better than I was when I was an 8. And just mentally, although, I'm a 3, I've learned so much and built up so much strength and awareness with myself. I still just be like, but why when it's dark? What happens when the sun come out? So that's what bothers me a little bit. I shine so bright in the dark. I don't want to be in the dark.
The dark is boring. For sure. I mean, the darkness can't comprehend the light. Yeah. Right. And so because the darkness can't comprehend the light, it means that the light is all consuming, right? The darkness doesn't know what to do, where to go, why it's there, type of thing. Right. And so for you, I feel like, although you're saying you're in the darkness and you shine bright, you don't shine for no reason. It's not a fake light, right? It's not a fake light. It's there for a reason. And like I said before to you, this could be fueling somebody else's story. This could be a testimony for somebody, man. This could be your testimony. This could be an opportunity for somebody to hear that and resonate with it and change everything, right? For somebody to realize, like, whoa, I actually have something here. I can cultivate it, work in it, gotta use it, right? It has to come out, but now I know how to do it, right? You could be giving somebody else language to what they're going through, even in the season that they didn't know what they were going through. And so that's the beautiful thing about you being vulnerable and saying, honestly, right now, I'm not really feeling too hot, but I'm here.
I'm here.
So what's up? You know what I mean? And so I think that's important. That's why we're here in the first place. So that's why I say all these little wins. To say all of this to say, these are little wins, big wins, wins in general.
A win is a win.
A win is a win, you know, and you got to just take them. You know what I mean? You got to just, because if you focus on how many L's you take and you're not giving credit to the wins, right, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
But I do believe, and I already know your heart about, you know, being here, you know, and wanting to go into that next chapter.
Yeah.
I do believe that you being here is not in vain. I don't believe that you being here was for no reason, obviously.
Yeah.
And that you may have much more to do. You just don't know yet. You don't have that context. You don't have that vision yet about it, right? You may have something here to do. You just haven't run into it yet. And when it comes,
and tell me whatever it is.
And it's gonna come. Trust, timely. It's gonna be on God's timing. And I know that when it happens, you're gonna be like, oh, wow, okay. Cool. I mean, I'm gonna still leave, but, I get it now. Yeah, right. So it's like, you know, that might happen, and I'm so ready for it too, because like I said from the beginning, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, and I love you, and I think that you have your legacy right in front of everybody, and you're showing people that it's possible.
Yeah.
You have such a voice and such a platform to minister to so many people, so many women. Right, that may be in your position, or people in general that are just moving and coming back and feel what you feel. That's why I don't take this podcast for granted, because you can listen to anything and feel impact, or you can listen to something and feel nothing at all. And I choose to impact people. So I think for you, you've impacted a lot of people. You don't even know it yet, but also them being impacted might motivate you to be like, okay, why am I really here? Let me actually dig deeper into that, because I want to be useful. I want to be fruitful. I don't want to just be sitting here, right, and purposeful. I don't want to just be here taking heat from my people and these and being around us. I don't want that, right? And nobody does. And so that's why I'm thankful that you at least were vulnerable about that, because I'm telling you right now, from where I'm sitting, and I know the real, but from where I'm sitting, you've done so much, and you're continuing to do so much. The wins are there, you know what I mean? And I have so much hope and so much faith in you to continue to do that. No matter if you stay here for a couple more months or you go somewhere else, like, I know that you're gonna flourish and you're gonna impact people and wherever you go.
Right. So, my work isn't done.
Your work is not done.
I got to a standstill point where I'm like, is this it? Like, what else do I do now? I have everything. Like, is this it? So I am glad that I'm in Detroit, because that put that fire back in me. See, like, everything was dying inside. Like, it looked good, but it was like, oh no, it wasn't working. But it put that fire back in me. Like, okay, I still do have a journey and a purpose to fulfill. I'm a very intentional woman. And I just have to make sure that I'm staying intentional with everything that I do. And I'm not wasting time.
Yeah.
We don't get time back. You can get the money back.
Yeah.
But we don't get the time back. And the moment I feel like I'm wasting my time, the moment my happiness is like compromised, it's like, I got to figure something else out. And I'm going to keep doing that for like the rest of my life, probably. But yeah.
That's good. And I encourage you on that front, before we wrap, to seek joy.
Yes.
Seek joy. Because joy, it lasts forever. Joy isn't a fleeting feeling. Joy is completely and utterly definitive, subjective, right? Happiness is fleeting.
It's all about defining what it is, though.
That's true.
You know?
You got a point. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And so I would say that if anything, roots your definition on what it is that you're striving for, and find definitiveness in it, right? Find permanency in it, because if you're only looking for the moment, it only lasts a moment, right? If you're looking at the long game, then you have much more wind in you to continue to go, right? You won't be long-winded, right? You'll have enough endurance, and you'll develop that endurance to withstand or uphold whatever it is that you're going for.
Right.
And so I just encourage you to keep going, because I don't want to see you at a 3 every day. I want to see you going up.
I'm tired of being a 3.
I want to see you at a 10.
I want to see me at a 10. What does Jade look like at a 10? Like, man, I am dying to know that. And I crave stability. Yeah. I don't want to just keep like moving around and stuff like that. But I just think I'm at a time in my life where I can do that. So why not do it? Why not take that risk? You know? But I do want to get to a point where I'm just like settled in one state. I'm not leaving. I'm not moving. And I'm just not content, but I'm happy enough. Yeah. Will we ever truly just be like happy, like 100% happy.
Right.
You know, I feel like everybody's always chasing something.
Always, yeah.
But can I get to 90%? Can I get to that?
Word.
And then just take the rest for what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's so good, and I'm happy. And I'm happy that you came, Jade. Seriously,
I'm happy that
I'm blessed to be here with you.
Thank you for having me.
Nah, it was nothing short of an obligation for me. I needed to have you here. You know what I mean? And I think that having you here again, it was so good. And before I wrap, I want to let you, if you have any like closing remarks for people, for your people, for your followers.
Yeah.
Do you want to leave them with anything before I wrap it?
I do want to leave them with something.
Okay.
I just want to say, like, it doesn't matter what season that you're in, you have to keep going. If you have that purpose, if you have the goals, if you have the dreams, if you have the drive, you have to keep going, because nobody's going to make it happen for you but you.
Hey.
So it doesn't matter how long those bad seasons are or whatever, just get through it. Learn how to navigate through the highs and the lows, because it'll become like a figment of your imagination at one point. You know, things that I'm tripping about now, I won't even care about 5 years from now. You know, like, or even probably 5 days from now. Life changes so much. Yeah. So to other women out there, that it may look good on the outside, or it may not even look good on the outside. You know, like, do that internal work and keep it moving. Like, keep going and keep God first.
Yes.
This is the closest I've ever gotten to God by being in Detroit. Please keep God first and just continue to chase those dreams. Like, I just feel like life is about us fulfilling our dreams. So don't stop. Even if you take 2 years off, don't stop. Get back to it. And whatever God is telling you to fulfill, you have to fulfill it. Like, it's like doing a disservice, you know? Yeah. But just keep going and feel it. Feel every emotion. I know some people try to like cover things up with liquor or, drugs or stuff like that. Like, I'm to a point, I just feel it. I have to feel it so I can just let it go.
Experience it, yeah.
Because I I kept suppressing things, you know? So that is another message to women. Like, don't even suppress it. Just feel it. If you got to feel it for 3 months, feel it. And then just keep moving and keep chasing your dreams. And please don't give up. Don't give up. It don't matter how hard it get, how dark it get. Just don't give up.
Wow.
So.
Hey, yeah, she said it. I'm gonna replay this and send it to her just so she can hear it herself, because that was advice to you too.
That was for me.
Yeah, facts. Well, I want to say that was beautiful, and I second that. And again, I appreciate you. Like,
thank you.
Deeply appreciate you for being here and sharing your story, sharing your side of everything. And I enjoyed this conversation. I mean, I think it was fruitful. I think that we uncovered some things that were important to be out. Right. We're important to be out. And so if you're listening, if you're watching, we want to thank you for just listening and watching and joining us today on the Full Circle Podcast. All right. Look at all the links in the bio. You can join us in the Discord. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're watching us. And have a blessed day, man. This is good. We'll see you next time on the next episode. Yes. God bless. Godspeed. We out.
Out of here.